Good morning, explorers. Today we're going to read a book called Stone Soup. It is written by Anne McGovern, so she's the author, and the pictures are by Winslow Penny Pels. Do we remember what we call that person? Touch your nose if you remember. I'll give you a second. You're right, it's the illustrator. So the pictures in here are drawn, so that was the illustrator. So, this book is about a young man who is very hungry. He has a problem, and that is that he's hungry. He goes about taking care of that problem in one way, but as we read it, I want you guys to think about different ways that you could solve that problem if you were hungry and didn't have a way to eat, okay? And maybe we can talk about that today at our Zoom meeting. Let's get started. I'll show you the picture and then I'll read. A young man was walking. He walked and he walked. He walked all night and he walked all day. He was tired and he was very hungry. At last he came to a big house. What a fine house, he said. There will be plenty of food for me there. And he knocked on the door. A little old lady opened it. Good lady, said the young man, I am very hungry. Can you give me something to eat? I have nothing to give you, said the little old lady. I have nothing in the house. I have nothing in the garden. And she began to close the door. Stop, said the young man. If you will not give me something to eat, will you give me a stone? What in the world is he going to do with a stone? I wouldn't want to eat it. There she is. She's looking perplexed. A stone? Said the little old lady. What will you do with a stone? You cannot eat a stone. Ah, said the young man, I can make soup from a stone. Now the little old lady had never heard of that. Make soup from a stone? Fancy that. There are stones in the road, said the little old lady. The young man picked up a round gray stone. This stone will make a wonderful soup, he said. Now get me a pot. The little old lady got a pot, filled the pot with water, and put it on the fire. The young man said, The little old lady did as she was told, and soon the water was bubbling in the pot. Still not very appetizing. The young man put the round gray stone into the pot. Now we will wait for the stone to cook into soup. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, This soup is cooking fast. It is cooking fast now, said the hungry young man, but it would cook faster with some onions. So the little old lady went to the garden to get some yellow onions. Wait a minute. I thought she said she didn't have anything. Into the pot went the yellow onions with the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the lady said, This soup smells good. It smells good now, said the hungry young man, but it would smell even better with some carrots. But she said she didn't have anything. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let's read and find out. So the little old lady went out to the garden and pulled up all the carrots she could carry. Into the pot went the carrots, with the yellow onions and the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, This soup tastes good. It tastes good now, said the hungry young man, but it would taste better with beef bones. Oh no, where's she going? So the little old lady went to get some juicy beef bones. Into the pot went the juicy beef bones, and the long thin carrots, and the yellow onions, and the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, This soup is fit for a prince. It is fit for a prince now, said the hungry young man, but it would be fit for a king with a bit of pepper and a handful of salt. I'm surprised she's finding all those things. So the little old lady got the pepper and the salt. Into the pot went the bit of pepper, the handful of salt, the juicy beef bones, the long thin carrots, and the yellow onions, and the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, This soup is too thin. I wonder what she means by that. It's too thin now, said the hungry young man, but it would be nice and thick with some butter and barley. Has anyone ever heard of the word barley? Barley is a grain, somewhat kind of like a pasta. Into the pot went the butter and barley, with a bit of peppers and a handful of salt, and the juicy beef bones, and the long thin carrots, and the yellow onions, and the round gray stone. Wow, that's a lot of soup. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of dishes. Soup from stone, said the lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady tasted the soup again. That is good soup, she said. Yes, said the hungry young man. This soup is fit for a king. Now we will eat it. Stop, said the little old lady. This soup is indeed fit for a king. Now I will set a table fit for a king. So she took out her best tablecloth and her best dishes. Then the little old lady and the hungry young man ate all the soup. I'll show you before we go on. The soup made with butter and barley, a bit of pepper, a handful of salt, and the juicy beef bones, and the long thin carrots, and the yellow onions, and the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. Now I must be on my way, said the young man. He took the stone out of the pot and put it in his pocket. Why are you taking the stone? Said the little old lady. Well, said the young man, the stone is not cooked enough. I will have to cook it some more tomorrow. And the young man said goodbye. There he is. He walked on down the road. He walked and he walked. What a fine supper. I will have tomorrow, he said to himself. But all he took was the stone. Soup from a stone, fancy that. So, boys and girls, what do you think he's going to do tomorrow? How's he going to eat soup if he only took the stone with him? So give it some thought, and we will talk about it today in our meeting. Have a good morning, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.